Hello class, today I'm going to teach you about exponents. A power is a product of repeated factors. So we have a base of a power is the repeated factor. So here we have a base of 2. The exponent is 5. The exponent shows the number of times the base is used as a factor. So here 2 to the 5th is the power, and then 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 2 used as a factor 5 times, okay? So write using exponents. So here we have 7 as our base. And how many 7s do we have? 3. So you're going to say 7 to the 3rd power, or you can say 7 cubed. B, I see 2 3s. So 3 to the 2nd power, or 3 squared, times 5 is our base. And how many 5s do we see? I see 4. So 3 squared times 5 to the 4th. Okay, here we're going to evaluate. So here we have a base of 5 3 times. So 5 times 5 times 5. And then we just multiply. So 5 times 5 is 25. And think of money. 25 times 5 is 125. Here we have negative 2 to the 4th. So that is saying it's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. The base is written out 4 times. We're going to keep the negative. So 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. And we're going to keep the negative. In this example here, negative 2 is in parentheses. So it's negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. Okay, so negative 2 is the base, right? So negative times a negative ends up being a positive. So negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. 4 times 4 is positive 16. So you see the difference of the two. When you have parentheses, the whole base is negative 2. When you don't have the parentheses, 2 is the base, and keep the negative, like in the previous example. Okay, here, using order of operations. So in A, I don't see any parentheses, but I do see 3 to the 4th power. So on your paper somewhere, write out 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Well, 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 9 is 81. So 3 to the 4th power is 81. So under that, write 81. So we're going to do 3 plus 2 times 81. So now, order of operations say to do the multiplying next. So 81 times 2 is 162 plus 3, which is 165. Great work. Okay, B, 3 to the 3rd power. On your paper, go somewhere and write 3 times 3 times 3 and then solve it. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. Minus 8 squared. Write out 8 times 8. And we know that's 64. So 64 under 8 squared divided by 2. So now what do we do next? Division. So 64 divided by 2, or half of 64, is 32. So now I have 27 minus 32. I know I'm going to subtract. And I know my answer is going to be negative because there's more negatives. So negative 5. 27 minus 32 is negative 5. Think about your integer rules from last year. Good work. Okay, let's look at another one. So in parentheses, I see negative 10 squared plus 70. However, parentheses are not directly around negative 10 squared. So that's saying 10 times 10, keep the negative. So 10 times 10 is 100, keep the negative. So negative 100 plus 70, keep the parentheses, times negative 3. So Signs are different. Find the difference. So 100 minus 70 is 30. And because there's more negatives, it's negative 30. So negative 3 times negative 30. Negative times a negative is a positive. And 30 times 3 is 90. Great job. Okay, let's look at a word problem. The annual profit in thousands of dollars is earned by a technology company X years after opening is represented by the equation. They give you the equation. How much more profit is earned in year 5 than in year 4? That's the question that's being asked. So we have year 4, and then we have year 5. Okay, we know the X is in years. So I'm just going to write out the formula and plug in. So 0.1 times x to the third. So year 4 would be 4 to the third plus 3. So on your paper, write out 4 times 4 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4 is 64. So 0 and 1/10 times 64 plus 3. So now I need to do multiplying. 1/10 times 64, just move your decimal once to the left. So that's 6.4 plus 3. 6.4 plus 3 would be 9.4. So year 4 is 9.4. Year 5, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to use a 5. So 0.1 times 5 to the third power plus 3. So on your paper somewhere, we're going to put 5 times 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 5 is 125. So 0.1 times 125 plus 3. So 1/10 times 125 is 12.5. Just move your decimal one spot to the left. Plus 3. So 12.5 plus 3 is 15.5. So now we're not done. Now we need to answer the question. How much more profit is earned in year 5 than in year 4? So let's subtract. So 15.5 minus 9.4. So 6.1. But if you read the beginning, that's the profit is in thousands of dollars. So let's move our decimal 3 times to the right. 1, 2, 3. So $6,100. They make a profit of $6,100 more dollars in year 5 than in year 4. I hope this video helped you understand exponents. Have a great day.